Hi guys, it's Sarah, and this is going to be an entry into strawberryelectric48's 50,000 subscriber contest. So hi Christy if you're watching this. And it's just going to be a tutorial on how to make this fun flowy top for spring and summer. So let's get started.
Okay, so you need some fabric, thread that will match your fabric, a flexible ruler, scissors, and also some pins. The sewing machine is optional. So first you're just going to fold it in half lengthwise so the finished ends are touching. Smooth it out and make sure nothing is underneath it. And just smooth it out, make sure all the edges are even. Then I use this shirt that's about the length that I want to make my circle top. And I measured the back from the very top collar to the bottom. And the measurement that I came up with was 23 inches. Alright, so next I just decided to pin it, and I did all four corners as well as the edges, and this is just to make sure that it stays even while you're marking it and also cutting. And also on the bottom I pinned it there. So first you're going to measure using the measurement you got from your shirt, and I started on one end and then I marked in the middle and then on the other end. And here I'm using a white crayon because it contrasts my fabric, but later I switched to a pen just because it was pretty hard to mark with the crayon. So what you're really doing here is measuring out markings to help you create a semicircle. And so what I'm doing now is pinning it into the center and then marking down just like a compass that you would use in geometry that creates a circle. It's the same idea of having one stationary point and working around it to create a circle. Just make sure that you're keeping the pin in place. Mine tended to want to move as I was pulling on the ruler, but just keep marking at that same measurement that you got in the beginning and you'll get a semicircle all the way around that you can follow to cut. And I'm only showing a little bit of what I did, but just go all the way down to the bottom, and then I started actually at the other side. I went down to the bottom again so that they met in the middle, and just make sure everything lines up. So at this point I just used my foot to keep the pin in place and kept marking around till I got to the bottom. So just follow that line you made, cutting with any scissors that you have. I would recommend finding fabric scissors if you can, but you can use paper scissors if you have them. Just be careful because it might be harder to cut your fabric. And there's the circle. I'm also cutting the neck hole, and I did 8 inches across and 3 inches down, and then I didn't connect them, I just cut using them as guidelines, and it worked out well for me. You can do whatever measurements you want. And to hem this, I did a zigzag stitch as close to the edge as possible, but if you don't have a sewing machine, you can actually use something called no stitch hem tape, and I'll link that down below in the description. Also, something that I want to mention is that if you use a jersey knit, you actually don't have to hem it because that won't fray. But mine did fray, so I did the zigzag stitch and just overlapped a little bit from where I started. Next, I tried it on, and I'm putting pins in where I want to make my seams for the sleeves. So this is basically just personal preference, whatever you want to do, whatever you think is good. And then after this, I took it off and folded it in half to make sure that the seams would line up, and just adjusted it to make sure they did. Also here, I'm marking that I want to go in 7 inches with my seams, so I knew where to start, and just put a little dot and started sewing there and used the pins as guidelines to make this seam. And this is really the only part where I couldn't see getting around sewing, so if you don't have a sewing machine you can do this by hand, and it won't take too long because it's just the small seam. And after that you're done. So this is the finished product. I really like how mine turned out, and if you guys have any questions about anything, just leave it down in the comments. I hope that it was easy to understand, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye!